Make you jump out of your seat a little bit?
Yes.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome. This is our regular scheduled Board of Commissioners meeting of October 7th at 7 p.m. I now call to order. First order of business tonight is our invocation and our pledge of allegiance. For our invocation, I've asked lead pastor Joey Hancock with House and Harvest Church here in Fuquay-Varina. We ran across each other this past Saturday at our Celebrate Fuquay-Varina festival, and he had a great tent and a great team of people out there today. And I asked him would he lead us in our invocation tonight. And the church is located, meeting right here down the street in Fuquay-Varina at Academy in Maine. Is that the correct location? At the dance studio there, and continue to grow the church. So I encourage you to check out their website at houseandharvest.org also. And I've asked our Pledge of Allegiance tonight to be led by Chris Hennett, our Inspections Director. If you all will please stand.
Thank you, Mayor Massengill. Appreciate the honor. As a native of Fuquay-Varina, I appreciate everything you do for our community, and I just pray God's wisdom over you. So let us bow our heads and pray. Most gracious and heavenly Father, we humbly come to you this evening in praise and thanksgiving. For you alone are our provision, our strength, and our salvation. We ask that your presence be here this evening with Mayor Massengill and the ladies and gentlemen of the board of our beloved community. Father, we read in your inerrant word in Romans the 13th chapter that all authority comes from God, and those in positions of authority have been placed there by God. Positions in local government are not a small thing, and they shape the direction, culture, and well-being of our communities that they preside over. I pray that the fear and awe of you, Heavenly Father, remain a constant point in the collective thoughts of our honorable board. Let the light of Jesus Christ, our Savior, shine in all that they do. Father, we lift up Mayor Blake Massengill and ask that you anoint him with the wisdom to lead as you would desire. May the Holy Spirit convict him, guide him, influence him, and inspire him to lead the board and our community with reverence to you and with the well-being of our citizens in mind. Father, be with our commissioners here this evening as they serve in a role that you have endowed them with in our community. May their decisions be your decisions. May their inspirations and ideas be influenced only by your Spirit, Lord God, and not the spirit of this age. In Ephesians, the 4th chapter, we are told not to give the devil a foothold. So, Heavenly Father, we ask that tonight your presence be felt in this room and all that is said and done. Father, we ask that you put a hedge of protection around each official and leader in this room, for your word gives your children direction to pray for those who lead our communities, and I lift their families and friends up to you, Lord God, and ask that you protect them as well. I pray, Father, that you bless each of them as you will, and most importantly, that you reveal yourself to them in a new way. And lastly, Father, we lift up to you our beloved community of Fuquay-Varina. Father, this community, once known for our mineral springs as a bastion of healing and renewal, can still be just that for those who grew up here, have moved here, and are planning on moving here. I pray that our community maintain the moral family values that you, God, gave us in its inception, and that we continue to be a beacon of healing and renewal. Let us love you and love our neighbors as Christ Jesus commanded. Father, again, we thank you, all that you have done for us, and all that you will do. We call you Jireh, God our provision, Nisi, God our banner, and Rapha, God our healer. May your name be lifted high, and may our leaders in all that our leaders say and do here tonight, and in the future bring honor and glory to your name. And we ask this in the name of our Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
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 Thank you.
Join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you both. Next is our meeting protocol. At this time, I ask Town Manager Mitchell to review the meeting protocol for public participation as it relates to tonight's meeting. Adam, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, board members. It's nice to be with you tonight. Tonight's town board meeting is both in person and live streamed on the town's YouTube channel and Facebook page. Tonight's meeting contains a public comment period, items that are tabled from a previous meeting, and scheduled public hearings. The public is invited to comment in person. When it is the appropriate time, Mayor Massengill will call on those wishing to address the town board. All attendees that have appeared in person to address the town board during the public comment period should provide your name and address on the green registration sheet by the podium prior to the public comment period beginning. All attendees that have appeared in person to address the town board during a scheduled public hearing should provide your name and address on the white registration sheet by the podium. We ask all those wishing to address the town board, either during the public comment period or a scheduled public hearing, to begin their comments by clearly stating their name and address for the public record. The public is asked to keep all comments to 3 minutes so that all that wish to speak may be heard in a timely manner. To be respectful of those that may have different views on matters addressed by the town board, we ask that all in attendance respect the decorum of the meeting by refraining from clapping, making loud noises, and generally showing support or displeasure for comments made during the public comment period or public hearings. Police Chief Smith will be asked to escort from the boardroom anyone not respecting the process, and it is the discretion of the mayor as presiding officer of this meeting to continue the public comment and/or public hearing period if the meeting protocol is not followed. This concludes the protocol for tonight's meeting.
Thank you, Manager. Next item of business is the approval of the minutes for our September 17th, 2024 Town Board of Commissioners regular scheduled meeting. Any changes or additions to the minutes? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
Mayor Massengill, I move that we approve the minutes as distributed.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is a presentation, it's a proclamation in regard to celebrating National Arts and Humanities Month. I'll be providing more information about this agenda item. Maureen in the room tonight? There's Maureen right there. So Maureen's our director of our Fuquay-Varina Arts Center, and our Fuquay-Varina Arts Center has been an incredible place for all kinds of programming this year and involvement. And so the month of October is considered National Arts and Humanities Month. And so I encourage everybody to be involved in the community. Check out not just our art center, but any kind of art place that excites you or feels you drawn to, but be involved with the arts and humanities throughout Fuquay-Varina right here. And so that being the case, I have this proclamation. Whereas the month of October has been recognized as National Arts and Humanities Month by thousands of arts and cultural organizations, communities, and states across the country, as well as by the White House and Congress for more than 25 years, and whereas the arts and humanities embody much of the accumulated wisdom, intellect, and imagination of humankind, and whereas the arts and humanities enhance and enrich the lives of every American, and whereas the arts and humanities play a unique role in the lives of our families, our communities, and our country, and whereas the nonprofit arts industry also strengthens our economy by generating $151.7 billion in total economic activity annually, and by supporting the full-time equivalent of 5 million jobs. And whereas the Fuquay-Varina Arts Center has now served our community for more than 5 years, becoming a vibrant cultural hub with a diverse array of engaging theater productions and an impressive range of visual and performing arts classes. Now therefore, I, Blake Massengill, Mayor of the town of Fuquay-Varina, North Carolina, proclaim the month of October as National Arts and Humanities Month and call upon our citizens to celebrate, promote, and participate in the arts and culture in our community. While we're speaking of those two items right there, or speaking of that, I have two items I want to show the public. One, this is a magnet that you can get from the town of Fuquay-Varina that is a local artist here in Fuquay-Varina that painted this mural on the side of the old original Fidelity Bank building in downtown Fuquay-Varina. And also, one of our local residents and employees of the Fuquay-Varina Arts Center painted and made this Christmas decoration right here. And so Jasmine Hicks painted this, and she's been quite involved with our town and involved with those areas. So I encourage you to get your 2024 Christmas decoration. You can get them from the communications department or the online store here in Fuquay-Varina. But the reason I bring this up is those are two local artists here in Fuquay-Varina, and it is National Arts and Humanities Month, and so we're excited to have those people located here in Fuquay-Varina. Next on our agenda is the public comment period. At this time, the Deputy Town Clerk will call on individuals that are in attendance and have registered to address the Town Board prior to the meeting. The public comment period is a time for the public to address the Town Board about any matter that is not the subject of a scheduled public hearing. Those speaking are asked to begin by clearly stating your name and address for the public record. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes in order that all who wish to speak may be heard in a timely manner. Deputy Clerk Eva, tonight, do we have anybody signed up?
We do not, Mayor.
Nobody signed up for public comment period. Okay, thank you, Eva.
You're welcome.
Next on our agenda are public hearings. Public hearings are a time for the petitioner to present his or her request and for the public to give input and voice their favor or opposition to the request. If you wish to speak and are physically in attendance, please step forward to the podium one at a time, provide your name and address at the registration log at the podium, and clearly state your name and address for the public record. We ask all those addressing the town board to please limit your comments to 3 minutes in order that all who wish to speak may be heard in a timely manner. First item tabled from previous meetings, developer agreement, Town of Fuquay-Varina and MVP Properties LLC, Academy Mixed Use Development Project. More information about the agenda item will be presented by Planning Director Davison. Pam, good evening.
I am submitting the agenda abstract and supporting documents into the official record of the town. The purpose of this agenda item is to consider a development agreement between the Town of Fuquay-Varina and MVP Properties LLC for the construction of Academy Village Mixed-Use Project. The Academy Village Mixed-Use Project comprises 41.54 acres and proposes to build 141,900 square feet of non-residential commercial space, including a 52,000 square foot grocery store tenant, and 464 residential dwellings consisting of up to 410 apartment units in combination of standalone and vertical mixed use, and 54 townhouses. As part of the project's rezoning, REZ 2308, you'll be hearing tonight, the developer has agreed to enter into a developer agreement that defines the project's commitment to prioritizing non-residential commercial uses. MVP Properties LLC and the town agree that the grocery store component of this project is the highest priority. As part of the proposed development agreement, the developer will include the construction of the grocery store in the first site plan and submit evidence of the construction contract financing. In addition, the developer is obligated to construct an extension of East Academy Street through the project site connecting Purfoy Road to Old Honeycutt Road. As an obligation under the agreement, the town affirms that it has sufficient water and sewer capacity to reserve allocation for 5 years to serve both the project's residential and non-residential components. The town attorney has reviewed a lease agreement between the grocery store tenant and developer, confirmed that it's viable, and advised town management, based on his professional opinion, to proceed with recommending approval of the development agreement as presented. The suggested motion tonight is to approve the development agreement between the Town of Fuquay-Varina and MVP Properties LLC for the construction of the Academy Village Mixed-Use Development Project as reviewed and recommended by the town attorney with town management as presented and recommended and subject to rezoning and annexation approval. I am available to answer any questions.
Any questions at the time from board members? Okay. James, thank you, Director Davison. Welcome to the hearing. In just one moment. James, she mentioned, Director Davison, about your opinion on lease in regards to this. And one of the things exciting about this is a grocery store tenant. Can you speak a little bit more into depth on what Director Davison was talking about with your opinion and recommendations?
We were presented a redacted lease financial information, some of those particulars redacted, and we reviewed it for default provisions because one of the outs in this development agreement is tenant default. And we reviewed it and we feel that it's strong. It's being relied on by institutional lenders to fund this project, so they're relying on that lease being valid. The agreement doesn't give an out for the developer breaching the lease. Basically, the tenant, as long as they don't go bankrupt or they stop paying their rent, those are really the only breaches they've got. And I'm comfortable with it because institutional lenders are relying on it, and you've got a lot of infrastructure that this commercial is really driving the input cost on the installation of the infrastructure as well. So I'm comfortable with it.
So there's not 100%, what you're saying is there's not 100% guarantee that the grocery tenant is built, but that, however, based on your legal experience and the way this is written, that it is extremely unlikely that the project would not have the grocery store built.
That's correct.
Okay, in regards to that. Okay, and I'm sure everybody in the room would like to know who the tenant is on there. They, I'm sure we don't know. is not information that you were given. You said it's redacted lease on that, but that either way, it is a large grocery store tenant. And when we have those, we are excited about additional grocery store opportunities in Fuquay-Varina. Correct.
That's correct.
All right. All right, so we will continue this public hearing about this. We'll also have a rezoning matter that will address some of the concerns I know that were brought up in the past. And so this first portion is going to be about the development agreement. The next part will be the public hearing in regards to infrastructure, traffic, roads, those types of things too, just so you know if anybody's maybe signed up here tonight when they'll be speaking. The hearing is now continued. Does anyone wish to speak in favor of the developer agreement?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. I'm Collier Marsh with Parker Poe at 301 Fayetteville Street here on behalf of the applicant. I have a number of members of our development team here as well. I have Danielle Hammond with UDP, our designers for the project. Also have George Macon and Austin Easter, which it's actually MPV Properties, not MVP. So they're the commercial developer behind this project. Also have Casey Gebert with Prophet Dixon Partners, the residential developer that's involved in this project. And then we have Reinald Stevenson, our traffic engineer, to answer any questions related to traffic for the eventual rezoning discussion. So this project is a little unique than most that I handle. I've worked on any number of rezonings throughout the triangle where you have a residential-led project and an afterthought on commercial. This project fundamentally started from a different position, which is that MPV Properties is a commercial developer. They were approached by their grocery store client. It said, help me find a location in Fuquay-Varina, and after looking at a number of sites, chose this site in particular. And so this project from day one has been founded around the delivery of a grocery store. The other components of the project, the commercial, the residential components, are ways to put together the overall financing and the ability to take down a site of this size and to deliver all the infrastructure improvements that go with it. So within the development agreement, it's really an effort between the applicant and the town to achieve a mutual goal of delivering a grocery store. So within it, the town has sought assurances from the developer that you are going to build a grocery store. And we've made those as robust as we're able to do. So within those commitments, our grocery store has to be constructed first or concurrently with any other building. We've got timelines and estimated construction where the grocery store realistically is going to be the thing that's delivered first, even if they all started on the same day, which we don't think is that how it's going to play out. But if every building was started on day one, the grocery store is getting delivered first. Similarly, it has requirements that at certain points in time, we are providing assurances to the town that we have financing to build the grocery store, and we have a contract with a general contractor to construct it so that it is all happening in real time. So we've done everything that we are able to as the applicant to ensure this is going to be built. And frankly, the reality of our team and how it's put together is that there's really no multifamily ability, there's no residential ability without this grocery store. It is the draw that's bringing all of those pieces together. Now, what we ask for from the town is to quickly help us deliver this grocery store. So there are a couple of components from the town that we've included that we ask for some clarity on the sequencing after this rezoning is approved, if it's approved. That allows us to ensure that things can move in a timely manner because, as James has mentioned, we have executed a lease with the grocery store, and as soon as this project advances to the next stage, if we're able to, we are under a strict deadline to deliver that grocery store. And so we've asked the town to help us understand that development process so that we can deliver it in an efficient manner. There are other requests of the town to allow us to configure it in a way. Your typical grocery store is not included in mixed-use development, and this is a unique setting with streets on all sides. And so we've asked for the town to give us the ability to deliver it and make it fit with this project and still look nice in a mixed-use project. So in the end, this development agreement is really a means to deliver the thing that we understand is the most important to both sides, which is the delivery of a grocery store. We're happy to answer any questions about the development agreement.
Thank you. Thank you for your time, sir. Thank you for your comments. Does anyone else wish to speak in favor of the developer agreement? Does anyone wish to speak in opposition to the developer agreement? The hearing is now closed. Any discussion by the board? If not, what's the pleasure of the board?
The question, what is the expected square footage of the grocery store? 52,000. Okay. 52,000 And the grocery store is what the development agreement, that is the commercial space that is being basically required with the rest of the development.
Prioritized, correct.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I had just a quick question.
Go ahead,
I think
Commissioner Harris.
Part of the development agreement referenced the traffic impact analysis. Has that been completed, or can you speak to that?
Adam, speaking in regards to that for Bill, because I know, or Commissioner Harris, I know we talked about rezonings, but we're going to talk about several of these traffic issues to be tied to.
That's
Yeah.
right. The traffic impact analysis has been completed. There are substantial transportation and traffic investments that are being made under this proposal, and those will be discussed in further detail as conditions as a part of the rezoning, which I believe is the next agenda item.
Okay, all right, just ahead of myself, thank you.
Any other discussion by board members in regards to the development agreement? If not, we'll entertain a motion to approve as so moved as presented, or substitute motions.
So moved as presented. Second.
We have a motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda, item 7B, zoning map amendment, MPV Properties LLC, Academy Village Mixed Use Development Project, 801 Old Honeycutt Road and a portion of 904 Old Honeycutt Road, REZ 2023-08. More information about the agenda item will be presented by Planning Director Davison. Pam, you're gonna be busy tonight.
Yep. I'm submitting the agenda abstract and supporting documents into the official records of the town. The purpose of this agenda item is to consider removing a 2.13 acre portion of 904 Old Honeycutt Road from the existing Willow Creek PUD, and to consider a requested zoning map amendment for a total of 41.54 acres located at 801 Old Honeycutt Road and a portion of 904 Old Honeycutt Road from the Residential Agricultural Zoning District and the Plan Unit Development Zoning District to the Commercial Mixed Use Zoning District. The master plan is characterized by a variety of mixed residential and non-residential uses, including a grocery store, several commercial and/or office buildings, vertical mixed-use buildings, front-loaded townhomes, alley-loaded townhomes, and multifamily apartment buildings. Both passive and activated open space are provided throughout the development via plazas, courtyards, greenways, and natural areas. The maximum allowed density in the CMU zoning district is 10 dwelling units per acre, and the master plan proposes a maximum density of 8.5 dwelling units per acre for the townhome and multifamily units. The upper-level residential units in the two vertical mixed-use buildings do not count towards the maximum allowable residential density. The master plan proposes to extend East Academy Street through the development connecting Purfoy Road to Old Honeycutt Road, which will provide a roadway connection between downtown Fuquay and US 401. CTP and TIA required improvements will include right-of-way and cross-section elements along the Purfoy Road and Old Honeycutt Road frontages, the installation of traffic signals at both intersections with East Academy Street, and designated right turn lane for the northbound lane of Judd Parkway at the intersection of East Academy Street. Both proposed public and private roads throughout the development will provide on-street parking and an enhanced pedestrian crossing as part of the modified East Academy Street cross-section, and will serve to promote a vibrant and urban streetscape. The CMU projects 20 acres or greater are required to provide at least 3 civic spaces totaling at least 5% of the project area. Academy Village proposes 3 civic spaces in the residential portion of the project totaling 1.92 acres or 5.2% of the project area, and will include a greenway, benches, an activated plaza, an amenitized stormwater control measure, an open lawn area. The multifamily portion of the project will also feature a pool, fitness area, and clubhouse. The non-residential portion of the development will feature pocket parks, benches, seating areas, sidewalks, and amenitized plazas. The proposed mix of non-residential uses, residential units, and activated civic space meet the intent of the CMU zoning district and is consistent with the land use plan designation for Community Activity Center. The requested zoning map amendment supports the following land use plan policies: create a comprehensive, connected, and continuous network of green space, improve street connectivity, establish a discernible neighborhood structure, encourage transitional uses in and around project boundaries, and provide mixed housing and diversity. At the August 19th, 2024 regular meeting, the Planning Board discussed what additional off-site pedestrian safety measures could be added along Lakestone Commons Avenue following a request from a member of the public. The Planning Board voted unanimously to recommend approval with the condition that the petitioner research the potential for added off-site pedestrian safety measures. Town staff investigated potential traffic calming solutions for the Academy Street Lakestone Commons Drive corridor between Judd Parkway and US 401 that will be continuous after the completion of Academy Street through both the Kensley Grove subdivision and Academy Village. While it was determined that the requested Hawk pedestrian beacons would not provide the desired outcomes, staff identified 4 intersections where mountable surface-mounted medians could be installed within the current roadway configuration, providing safe pedestrian refuge, as well as reduced speeds due to the restricted lane width. In addition to the medians, the town is considering a reduction in the speed limit. The developer was presented with the town's traffic calming recommendations, and the developer agreed to install medians at the 4 requested intersections. Additionally, since the Planning Board hearing, the petitioner added a note to the master plan clarifying that the non-residential development shown is conceptual and revisions to the configuration and/or uses permissible will not require amendments to the approved master plan as long as they meet the applicable development standards and specific commitments included in the master plan. And the petitioner requested consideration to be tabled from the September 3rd, 2024 meeting to tonight. The suggested motion tonight is to approve removing a 2.13 acre portion of 904 Old Honeycutt Road from the existing Willow Creek PUD and approve REZ 2023, a zoning map amendment for 801 Old Honeycutt Road and a portion of 904 Old Honeycutt Road from the Residential Agricultural Zoning District and the Planned Unit Development Zoning District to the Commercial Mixed Use Zoning District as it is consistent with the 2040 Community Vision Land Use Plan and reasonable and in the best interest of the public for the reasons identified by the town attorney, management, and staff. I'm available to answer any questions.
So Pam, you came out of the planning board and neighborhood meeting with some traffic calming related items. You pointed out 4 intersections here that are in addition to the 2 intersections that have stoplights, and the goal of them was to slow traffic down. It's been a concern through that area was speed related. I know there was an accident there just a week ago on that. And these, how did you come up with these traffic calming intersections?
There were staff meetings between the engineering, public works, and planning department, and they identified that these 4 intersections on both sides of the project were the logical places that would provide kind of
Traffic
intervals. Yes, the
That's what
traffic
I was
engineers
going-
were,
traffic
yeah,
engineers
sure were.
is not just-
And also pedestrian refuges in these medians to provide safe pedestrian access.
But traffic engineers, not just somebody said, oh.
It was not just planning.
I don't mean just planning. I mean, for instance, wasn't some politician just said, oh, let's go put 4 little places right here. It came
These
with
were
design professionals.
staff
to come up
engineers,
with
yeah.
that. The 2 locations are full signalized stoplights, correct? They'll be
Yes.
installed with the project, must be installed with the project right there in regards to that. Okay. All right, I know we'll have some more conversation about some of those, and we, if nobody has questions for staff right now, we'll open the public hearing. Okay, thank you, Director Davison. Does anyone wish to speak in favor of the zoning map amendment?
Good evening again, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. Again, Collier Marsh with Parker Poe at 301 Fayetteville Street, here on behalf of the applicant team, same team as I introduced before. I think I was mistaken in the prior meeting in not mentioning the collaborative effort that we've had with staff on this project. We were presented with some challenges with this site, some transportation elements that are pretty significant, as well as a community activity center that calls for a successful mixed-use project. And so we had components in mind, but we really relied on Pam and her team, Jim and Adam and James, to help us come up with what fulfills the town's vision here. And so really, I think at every step of the way, this has been as involved a process with staff as I've seen, the culmination of which we think is a very successful mixed-use project that still delivers that East Academy Street extension and extensive off-site traffic improvements that have meaningful public benefits beyond the project itself. But that East Academy Street extension presents a pretty unique challenge when you're trying to have a successful mixed-use development. So We've tried to address that in a number of ways, and we've aimed to have a true mixture of uses from a mixture of residential types. We've got the grocery store, obviously. We've got horizontal mixed uses. We've got vertical mixed uses and a number of commercial uses. But that Academy Street extension going through the middle, it stands out to you. And so what we did is we tried to integrate the open space within the community along the opposite axis to move people essentially north-south through the site with a narrowed street section, again, some traffic calming with a wider pedestrian crossing and open spaces on either side of the internal intersection of the Academy Street extension to make sure that people actually use both sides and can access them. We've got some meaningful amenities on the southern side of the extension there with trails around an activated stormwater pond that will have fountains and will be genuinely attractive. So in the end, we're very proud of the project. We're proud of the efforts of the town and the collaborative effort to get us to this point. Traffic and transportation, I know that the question about the TIA has come up. That was completed. We have a traffic engineer that can answer the questions. I can say that at last check, the off-site and transportation improvements for this project are in excess of $7 million. So they're major transportation improvements that will benefit folks well beyond the bounds of this property. So with that, there's plenty we could talk about, but we're happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you for your comments, sir.
7 million. Could you kind of give a highlight of?
So one of the things that stood out to us on day one on the site is you got a lot of street frontage, and all of those frontages are being built out to the town standards. The Academy Street extension and signalization are significant. There are a number of off-site improvements that relate to turn lanes and traffic signals optimization, and then those latest additions with that pedestrian refuge, although it sounds small, just a little median in between a couple of intersections, is in the neighborhood of $160,000 to $200,000. So they really are meaningful, and they go far beyond the bounds of this project.
Another question. Would you speak to traffic calming strategies that you were using?
Sure. So on the East Academy Street extension, so that will be what's on the town's transportation plan is a major connection between it. We saw right away that, this is an important road to the town, but you'd expect people will want to use that important road. How do we ensure that you have a safe pedestrian environment within our mixed-use center? And so what we've done is we modified the street section along that East Academy Street extension to have a more pedestrian-friendly environment. You've got the median in the middle, and then we've got open spaces, and we've got a wide pedestrian crossing between the north and south section. So we think that it logically makes sense to continue those efforts as we move beyond our site. So we've got signalization at both ends of the extension that we're building. So we're putting traffic signals in those locations, which will have a meaningful benefit on traffic, as well as safe pedestrian crossings with signals. And now with the latest additions, it takes us even further into the neighborhoods on either side to have safe pedestrian crossings for their internal streets as well.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Does anyone else wish to speak in favor of the zoning map amendment? Does anyone wish to speak in opposition to the zoning map amendment?
I want to make sure she's ready for me. Okay, Wendy Taylor, 1421 Old Bramble Lane. So just a few moments ago when they spoke about the zoning meeting last month and the board, or the person from the public that spoke up, that was me. I was the one that caused all the stir. And the reason I did it is because I'm really concerned about the neighbors in my neighborhood. For 17 years, I worked in EMS and as a level 1 trauma nurse. So I've seen some bad things. According to the U.S. Department of Transportation, Federal Highway Administration, pedestrian crashes account for about 12% of all traffic fatalities annually. On average, a pedestrian is killed in a motor vehicle crash every 120 minutes, and one is injured every 8 minutes. To put that into perspective, assuming this meeting takes about 2 hours, during that time, one person would have died and 15 others would have been injured by being a pedestrian struck by a car. That concerns me in our neighborhood. We're already a thoroughfare for the area coming from 401 to Old Honeycutt, and I do love the idea of this development. I think it's great for the community. I don't think, I do think that it puts a higher risk for our neighbors within Lakestone Village and in with the neighborhood on the other side of the property as well. So when I came in August, I did ask for a stipulation to the zoning request, and that was for the rapid rectangular flashing beacons, as well as a reduction in speed along Lakestone Commons. Chief Smith, I don't know if you're familiar with the calls that we've made, but we have reached out several times to the Fuquay Police Department to come out and help monitor the speed along Lakestone Commons because it's quick. 2 weeks ago, September 22nd, if you drive by Lakestone Commons right now, you'll see that there is our beautiful black iron fence is crashed into a neighbor's backyard. A car ended up in their backyard, literally 3 feet from their back porch. And my neighbors are too valuable for speeds like that in that area. I care too much about my neighbors, about my friends, about my family members that have come here today. And again, this isn't against the development. It's in favor of the development, but more so in favor of the people around the development. So I just, at the end of the day, I'm a mom that wants my kids' friends, my neighbors, my community to be safe. If you've never witnessed a pedestrian accident firsthand or the aftermath of that accident firsthand, I can promise you, you don't want to. So I just ask that these stipulations that have been added, that there aren't escape clauses, that let's not let the right-of-way be an issue to not make it happen. Okay.
Thank you, Mayor, for your comments, and I'll address some of those right there when we have board discussion. Does anybody else wish to speak in opposition to the zoning map amendment? The hearing's now closed. Moving to board discussion. Adam, speaking in regards to zoning conditions on there, is there, the concern was brought up on how do you know that the narrowing of medians and those can be put in? There's no escape clause in regards to that. Is there correct?
No, it's a zoning condition, and in addition to that, it's been determined that all of that can happen with an existing right-of-way, so right-of-way is not going to be an issue as well.
It will happen, and it's part of the zoning conditions that the rest of the project can't be done without having that installed.
Correct.
You can't go into the infrastructure installation right there, okay. One other concern brought up was speed, and I do understand that this is shown on the town's thoroughfare plan as a thoroughfare, as a connector road from 401 to Honeycutt Road, Purfoy, and back all the way to Judd Parkway. And I know often we do have roads in town that are, this is currently 35, and that are often 35, and they're transferring people, but it also does go through some neighborhoods, and I don't necessarily disagree with why originally the road was built with the intention of 35, but with the amount of walking in the area to concern with 25, with people in that area, same with some of our other downtown roads that are high pedestrian areas are 25-mile-an-hour roads. I do think it would be reasonable to be a 25-mile-an-hour road right here as a complement to the other measures that are put in there. All that would take is a board ordinance and a change of signs. Is that correct, Adam?
That's correct.
And that would be my only comment to the board in regards to this. I do like everything else that's going on with transportation, but that when a motion is made, if a motion is made to support this, that for staff to come back with an ordinance for a speed limit reduction at that point. Any other questions or comments by board members? I think we have an opportunity for a new grocery store to be in town. We have an opportunity for a whole lot of road improvements, 2 new stoplights on problematic, that would become new problematic intersections, help remove Honeycutt Road. We've addressed a concern with pedestrian by the pedestrian crossings and narrowing. I've suggested with the motion that we have an ordinance to change the speed limit down to 25. I think that addresses these concerns there. We'll entertain a motion or comments by board members. I think you can make a motion that would say motion so moved, and also directing staff at the same time to come back with a speed limit reduction ordinance. And that would be a motion that you can make.
Mayor, I move that we approve this motion as presented with the provision that staff come back with an ordinance for speed limit change.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Is that adequate?
I'm gonna ask him in a minute after we get a second on that.
I'll second it.
Motion is second. Adam, is that clear on that?
It is. I will, let me just make one caveat to that as to the when. It was our intent to recommend that the speed limit be reduced from 35 to 25 anyway with the installation of these pedestrian measures. So unless the town board desires for it to come back sooner, it would come along with these improvements.
I think it comes along with this project, and if it makes sense for the agenda, that you can get it done sooner. This project may take a couple of years to get built out. I know it's been a concern over there, not just about what was brought up tonight, but I've gotten concerns from the community over there. I think it would be good to get that speed limit changed sooner rather than later. It'll take time, I know, to get that, to go through the public hearing process, go through the process back to the board to get that done. So, is that okay with your motion to?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay.
That good for you? Okay, we have a motion and a
Can I-
second.
Can I understand, the 25 miles per hour is for what road?
And I'll have Matt just keep me out of the ditch here, but for Lakestone Commons Avenue from Old Honeycutt Road to US 401?
So
Or to
Judd Parkway from 401,
no, Lakestone Commons doesn't
Down-
go all the way. Which portion of Lakestone Commons are we talking about?
it would be the whole portion of it, from all the way to 401.
Correct, all the way to 401. So Lakestone Commons from Old Honeycutt to 401, Chick-fil-A, Kohl's, that area.
Yeah.
And then also on Academy Street,
All the way to Judd Parkway.
all the way back to Judd Parkway by the Methodist Church.
Okay, so through the.
Let
new-
me try to annotate here. Nope, annotation didn't work. Now it works. Go forward a slide, Scott, please. All right, now put it there. Okay, so we're talking about this portion all the way back to Judd Parkway and this portion all the way up to 401,
And both of those sections are currently what?
35 miles per
35.
hour.
Okay.
And obviously, the new road that gets built would be the same speed limit too.
Correct.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from board members? All right, we have a motion and second.
So, just a quick question. So that would come back as a public hearing to reduce the speed? Once,
Not a public hearing, that's just
would
an
it have to be,
ordinance.
or could it just be a board?
It's just a board action
Okay.
through a town code amendment.
Okay, thank you.
I would just like to say I really appreciate all the time that has been put into this on behalf of staff and the people presenting this project to achieve the vision we have come up with as a board for this area and see that it be as safe and useful as it can be. I really appreciate the time that went into this.
Thank you. Our staff did work very hard on this, planning, engineering, public works. Definitely give them the credit for carrying the heavy weight there.
Motion second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Chief, I know that that's a area that, or police chief, I know that's an area with lots of speed that you deal with out there. I know y'all continue to do enforcement out there and keep it on your radar. So. Next item, item 6C, voluntary annexation petition, Adcock Trust Agreement LLC, 801 Old Honeycutt Road, ANX-2023-10. More information about this agenda item will be presented by Planning Director.
Thank you. I'm submitting the agenda abstract and supporting documents into the official records of the town. The purpose of this agenda item is to consider an annexation ordinance extending the corporate limits of the town of Fuquay-Varina following receipt of a petition for voluntary annexation of property located at 801 Old Honeycutt Road, owned by Adcock Trust Agreement LLC. The 39.4 acres is contiguous to the town's corporate limits. Both town water and sewer are available to serve the property, and a fire flow test resulted in adequate fire flow. At the August 20th, 2024 meeting, the town clerk certified that the petition was sufficient and met the requirements prescribed by the North Carolina general statutes, and the town board adopted a resolution setting a public hearing for tonight's town board meeting. The present total value of the property being annexed is $4,434,080. The suggested motion tonight is to adopt the annexation ordinance to extend the corporate limits of the town of Fuquay-Varina to include property owned by Adcock Trust Agreement LLC, ANX 2023-10, as presented and recommended. I'm available for any questions.
Any questions this time? Thank you, Director Davidson. Hearing is now continued. Does anyone wish to speak in favor of the voluntary annexation petition? Does anyone wish to speak in opposition to the voluntary annexation petition? Hearing is now closed. Any discussion by the board? If not, what's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to adopt the annexation ordinance to extend the corporate limits of the town of Fuquay-Varina to include the properties owned by Adcock Trust Agreement LLC, ANX 2023-10 as presented and recommended.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on agenda, item 7A, public hearings, developer agreement, Town of Fuquay-Varina and 614 Old Honeycutt LLC, Purfoy Mixed-Use Development Project. More information about the agenda item will be presented by Planning Director Davidson.
Thank you. I'm submitting the agenda abstract and supporting documents into the official records of the town. The purpose of this agenda item is to consider a development agreement between the town of Fuquay-Varina and 614 Old Honeycutt LLC for the construction of the Purfoy Mixed-Use Development Project. The Purfoy Mixed-Use Development Project comprises 17.42 acres and proposes to build 51,000 square feet of non-residential commercial space and 56 residential townhouse units. As part of the project's rezoning, REZ 2023-04, the developer has agreed to enter into a development agreement that defines the project's commitment to prioritizing non-residential commercial uses. The town and developer agree that the commercial buildings are the highest priority, and the developer is committed to construct at least 25,500 square feet of commercial buildings either before or concurrently with the construction of the 56 townhomes, along with evidence of the construction contract and financing. As an obligation under the agreement, the town affirms that it has sufficient water and sewer capacity to serve both the project's residential and non-residential components. The suggested motion tonight is to approve the development agreement between the town of Fuquay-Varina and 614 Old Honeycutt LLC for the Purfoy Mixed-Use Development Project as presented and recommended and subject to rezoning and annexation approval. I am available for any questions.
Any questions for staff at this time? Okay. The hearing is now open. Does anyone wish to speak in favor of the developer agreement?
Good evening, Mayor, members of the board. My name is David Gorman, 3424 Williamsboro Court in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm the property owner here and the applicant. I'm a partner at Lock 7 Development. I just wanted to say thank you all for your time. We're excited for this project. It is very much a non-residential project with a smaller residential component, and we worked very tirelessly with the planning staff, management to come up with an agreement that would prioritize the non-residential portion, and I think that very much came through in this final developer agreement. So I'm here for questions, and I want to thank you all for your time.
Thank you for your comments. Does anyone wish to speak in favor, anyone else wish to speak in favor of the developer agreement? Does anyone wish to speak in opposition to the developer agreement? The hearing is now closed. Any discussion by the board? If not, what's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Mayor, so moved.
We have a motion, so moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Adam, how total square, or Pamela, total square footage of non-residential getting built with this project is 25,500, is that correct?
That's the prioritized square footage. There's more to come, but that is the initial.
The total is 51,000.
25,500 is being built in the beginning.
Correct.
And there are how many residential units?
56,
56 residential units and building 25,500 square foot commercial
half the
space.
commercial.
Great, I like that number. Okay, thank you, ma'am. No further discussion by the board. We'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 7B, zoning map amendment and land use plan amendment, Lock 7 Development, Purfoy Mixed Use Development, 614 Old Honeycutt Road, REZ 2023-04. More information about the agenda item will be presented by Plan Director Davison. Pam, don't go far.
I am submitting the agenda abstract and supporting documents in the official records of the town. The purpose of this agenda item is to consider a requested zoning map amendment for a total of 17.5 acres located at 614 Old Honeycutt Road from the commercial mixed-use zoning district to the residential mixed-use zoning district and the corresponding land use plan amendment from Community Activity Center classification to the Neighborhood Activity Center classification. The property was the subject of REZ 2021-06, which also included a master plan. The master plan here is characterized by a mixture of commercial uses and alley-loaded townhomes surrounded by an activated central green space. The associated master plan identifies permitted uses, arrangement of uses, open space, thoroughfare network, utilities, pedestrian network, architectural design and standards, building layout, and landscaping. The maximum allowed density in the RMU zoning district is 12 units per acre. 56 townhome units are proposed, resulting in a density of only 3.7 dwelling units per acre, in addition to a minimum of 51,000 gross square feet of non-residential uses. Although the previously approved master plan proposed all non-residential first floor uses with 229 upper story residential units, the new master plan prioritizes the development of non-residential commercial uses along the established roadway corridors of Old Honeycutt Road and Purfoy Road, while tucking the residential portion further into the parcel to serve as a transition to the adjacent single-family subdivision to the south. In addition to activating the existing corridors with visible commercial development, the proposed interior configuration will serve to establish the civic space as a central core and vibrant focus of the project. RMU projects between 5 and 20 acres are required to provide at least 2 civic spaces totaling at least 5% of the project area. Purfoy Mixed Use proposes 2 civic spaces, a community dog park, and an almost 1 acre centralized civic space for a total of 1.17 acres. The central civic space will include at least 1 primary amenity like an event pavilion, an amphitheater, a community gathering space, or an outdoor plaza, and 2 secondary amenities like games, outdoor exercise equipment, outdoor library book boxes, pet waste stations, and benches. A 10-foot wide paved public greenway will also be constructed from Old Honeycutt Road south along the existing stream. Management and staff recommend approval of the proposed zoning map amendment for the following reasons. It will create a comprehensive, connected, and continuous network of green space, establish a discernible neighborhood structure, encourage transitional uses and intensities in and around project boundaries, and the included master plan and narrative ensures the future uses fit into the development context and meet many of the goals of the 2040 land use plan. At the September 16th regular meeting, the Planning Board voted unanimously to recommend approval. The suggested motion tonight is to approve REZ 2023-04, a zoning map amendment for 614 Old Honeycutt Road, from the commercial mixed-use zoning district to the residential mixed-use zoning district, and the corresponding land use plan amendment from the Community Activity Center classification to the Neighborhood Activity Center classification, as it is reasonable and in the best interest of the public for the reasons identified by management and staff. I am available for any questions.
Questions or comments for staff? Okay, thank you, Director Davison. Hearing is now open. Does anyone wish to speak in favor of the zoning map amendment?
Good evening, David Gorman again, 3424 Williamsboro Court. Just to give a little history on this site, so the council approved a previous plan about 2 years ago with the current CAC designation, and that plan had apartments over retail. After that was approved, we started talking to tenants, and we heard that they wanted a different design. They wanted standalone buildings with more outdoor space and more of a walkable feel. Then we talked to neighbors, and they said that they would support a transitional plan between the commercial uses to the north and residential to the south, and they felt that townhomes provided a better buffer and transition. And then finally, the Academy Village project was proposed, which had even more apartments over retail directly across the street. So we went back, we met with planning staff extensively, we worked really hard together, and we came up with this very exciting, walkable plan. We think it's more appropriate for the site. I think it's a better use. And then we have the developer agreement that will prioritize, as you guys heard, the non-residential. So we're excited. We think this is a great plan. It's going to be vibrant. and we would love your support. So please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you. Does anyone else wish to speak in favor of the zoning map amendment? Does anyone wish to speak in opposition to the zoning map amendment? Hearing is now closed. Any discussion by the board? If not, what's the pleasure of the board? Entertain a motion.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve REZ 2023-04 zoning map amendment for 614 Old Honeycutt Road from the commercial mixed-use zoning district to the residential mixed-use zoning district, and the corresponding land use plan amendment from the community activity center classification to the neighborhood activity center classification, as it is reasonable and in the best interest of the public and for the reasons identified by management and staff.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda, public hearing, item 7C, developer agreement, Town of Fuquay-Varina and D.R. Horton Incorporated, Vaughn Park Mixed-Use Development Project. More information about the agenda item will be presented by Planning Director Davison.
Thank you. I'm submitting the agenda abstract and supporting documents into the official records of the town. The Vaughn Park Mixed-Use Project comprises approximately 88 acres and proposes to build 336,000 square feet of non-residential commercial space and 742 residential apartments, townhomes, cottages, and row home units. As part of the project's rezoning, REZ 2305, the developer has agreed to enter into a development agreement that defines the project's commitment to prioritizing non-residential commercial uses. Town management's understanding is that this agreement should prioritize the construction of a minimum of 30,000 square feet of non-residential commercial development, as previously discussed with the developer, although the developer agreement is not clear to that point. Also, as a condition of the development agreement, the developer agrees to pay a payment in lieu for improvements to complete an off-site connection to Burton Street. As an obligation under the agreement, the town affirms that it has sufficient water and sewer capacity to serve both the project's residential and non-residential components. The town agreed to provide water and wastewater utility allocations for all 150 cottage house units. I am going to defer to the town manager tonight for the suggested motion.
Mr. Mayor and Board, due to the recommended need for additional discussion with the developer related to the development agreement, I'm recommending that this matter be tabled to the October 22nd Town Board meeting.
Okay.
So we,
At this time, the hearing is now open. I'm opening the public hearing for agenda items 7C, 7D, and 7E. We heard town manager recommend agenda items be tabled to the October 22nd Town Board meeting. More time for development and management to iron out a few details. Entertain a motion by the board.
I'll make that motion to table till our next meeting.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, that's item 7C, D, and E. Public hearing, item 7F, voluntary annexation petition, Scott M. Golden, Maria Anna Lazari, and David W. Grimes III, 7900 and 7908 Twin Pines Way, ANX-2024-09. More information about this agenda item will be presented by Planning Director Davison. And that might be your last item tonight, Planning Director Davison.
Maybe last one tonight, yep. I am submitting this agenda abstract and supporting documents to the official records of the town. The purpose of this agenda item is to consider an annexation ordinance extending the corporate limits of the town of Fuquay-Varina following receipt of a petition for voluntary annexation of properties located at 7900 and 7908 Twin Pines Way, owned by Scott M. Golden, Maria Anna Lazari, and David W. Grimes III. The combined 2.755 acre parcels are contiguous to the town's corporate limits. Both town water and sewer are available to serve the property, and a fire flow test resulted in inadequate fire flow. Town sanitation and recycling services are not available to serve the subject properties and have been exempted per the annexation agreement. At the September 17th, 2024 meeting, the town clerk certified that the petition was sufficient and met the requirements prescribed by the North Carolina General Statutes, and the town board adopted a resolution setting a public hearing for tonight's town board meeting. The present total value of the property being annexed is $1,251,697. The suggested motion tonight is to adopt the annexation ordinance to extend the corporate limits of the town of Fuquay-Varina to include property owned by Scott M. Golden, Maria Anna Lazari, and David W. Grimes III, ANX 2024-09, and to approve the declaration of annexation agreement as presented and recommended. I'm available for any questions.
What prompted the request?
Connection to utilities.
So, in the utilities that they'll be connected to is water, correct?
Water and sewer is available.
Oh, that's right, okay. You say connection to do you know if the well was failing, the septic was failing, do we know?
I'm not sure exactly what, I just know they were interested in.
Okay, I was curious more than anything. I think we've already got one right beside it, so something's going on.
Certainly.
Thank you.
That's right. I'll see if I help you there. Thank you, Director Davison. Any other further comments for staff? Hearing is now open. Does anyone wish to speak in favor of the voluntary annexation petition? Does anyone wish to speak in opposition to the voluntary annexation petition? Hearing's now closed. Moving to board discussion. Charlie, I can only speculate, but looking at that previous map that was just up there, you said that they are connecting for both water and sewer services is probably a matter of, that's a nice sized lot, expanding the house, or they already got a pool, but detached garage, something like that right there, and be more usable. I think the good thing is we continue to expand our utilities out there is when we have opportunities like this that somebody wants to tack onto our system, that is huge because we have our economies of scale from Mike's utility department and a variety of different areas right there, and the same for trash and sanitation when they provide services to locations that they're driving by them already. So anytime we can add one on, the cost of doing business is very cost efficient, but the taxpayers get a good return.
So I hadn't thought about it from that, but they're adding a lot of value to their property because they have property that somewhat
the whole thing can
you can't be built on, and by having water and really the sewer,
the well,
all of a sudden they've got access to a lot more of the property they already own.
You're exactly right. The cost of I would think the property value increase compared to the cost of fees and such would greatly outweigh it. So
I like it.
We welcome them to being a citizen of Fuquay-Varina.
Yeah.
Okay. Did the public hearing already? Yes. Hearing now closed. Discussion by the board. Okay. Pleasure of the board. We'll entertain a motion.
Mayor Massengill, I move that we adopt the annexation ordinance to extend the corporate limits of the town of Fuquay-Varina to include property owned by Scott Golden and Maria Lazani and David Grimes III, ANX 2024-09, and to approve the declaration of annexation agreement as presented and recommended.
I have a motion.
Second.
And a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Consent agenda. What is the board's pleasure on the items on the consent agenda?
Mr. Mayor, I would move that we approve consent agenda items 8A, 8B, 8C, 8D, 8E, as presented.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. No further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Contract award and project ordinance amendment, POA-25-09 BL-0054 Southeast Judd Parkway improvements. More information about this agenda item will be presented by Engineering Director Poling. Pamela, you do a great job, but when Matt comes to us and fixing the road, that it's pretty exciting always.
Can't let her have all the fun.
That's right. You got to share with her fun, right?
That's right. So I am submitting this agenda abstract and the supporting documents into the official record of the town. The purpose of this agenda item is to consider approving project ordinance amendment POA 2509 in the amount of $100,000 and awarding a contract for the construction of the Southeast Judd Parkway Improvements Project BL 0054 to ST Wooten Corporation in the amount of $509,705. So the general scope of work is about 600 linear feet of new sidewalk, curb and gutter, storm drainage, and some minor pavement widening. The making improvements between Barneswick Drive and Holland Road. A total of 6 bids were received, with ST Wooten being the lowest responsible bidder. This is bringing the total project cost to about $823,960. The town previously had a project ordinance established as $723,960. To date, the town has incurred costs for project design, NCDOT fees, right-of-way, and CEI. Staff is requesting and has successfully requested, I'm jumping the gun. Staff is requesting via a project ordinance amendment 2509, $100,000 be transferred from the 2024 GEO transportation bonds to cover the increased project costs. And then the last bullet there, the town is seeking additional funding from NCDOT and Campo, and we just actually heard today that our additional funding was approved in the amount of $100,000 at a 50-50 cost. So.
Well, Matt, we like that always when you get us some money from the government, from other areas. That's always a good day right there. You know, Matt, this is the portion from Stewart all the way to Angel Road will be completed with sidewalk, if I remember right,
and then,
on Judd Parkway.
Yes, sir. And then the Andrew intersection connects that to the South Judd, to the community
That's
center.
what I was going to say. The Andrew intersection is getting redone, so really all the way to the community center. You can walk there. I know there's one section way on the other side near Sippy Hall that's missing some sidewalk, but on that we would have pretty much linked all the sidewalks
All the way
around
around.
there for the Fuquay-Varina's very own Beltline.
Yes, sir.
And so this makes a difference right here. This is a gap that, with several neighborhoods established, Northwick subdivision and new neighborhoods nearby it too, that there's a lot of walking in that area. And so this really helps connect a line right there. And you're able to get some government money for it too.
Yes, sir.
So, thank you. All right, we have a motion on the screen, and we don't want to hold up Matt from getting to work on fixing that road right there. Would you entertain a motion so moved, or feel like?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, motion's approved, Matt. How soon before the bulldozers are there?
So there's a DOT moratorium in paving, usually in the winter. So as we go into the winter, they tend to, paving activities kind of slow down a little bit until we get temperatures. But we're expecting probably spring 2025 is when construction will probably start. And
So they won't go ahead and start with sub-base grading, sidewalks, nothing, curb and gutter?
Potentially. We do put a good bit of contract time on our contracts so that that contractors can kind of fit it into their schedules when they're scheduling out their 2025 work. And that just helps us to get more bids when we give them some flexibility on their contract time. So,
When do they have to have it completed by?
it'll be 12 months.
That's what I thought. Okay, so it's the standard 12 months. So
Yes, sir.
They can choose to wait till the spring. Yep, it's a DOT moratorium, but they're just burning up time. So I encourage them to get to work.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Matt.
Yes, sir.
All right, other business, town manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. A few things in addition to the items that are included on your agenda that I just want to bring to your attention. The first is related to our Human Resources Department. We are in the midst of conducting performance appraisals for our employees and hope to be wrapping that up within the next few weeks. And we are also kicking off the budgeted pay and classification study for our organization, and that study will begin this week. That was something that has been planned and prepared for us to do. If you recall, the board decided to invest in market assessments every year and pay and classification studies every 3 to 5 years. And so we're keeping on that rotation so that we're making sure that our employees are being compensated appropriately for the jobs that they're performing, and that we are also staying competitive in the current market environment. So that study is underway, or will be underway this week, and I'll be bringing more information back to the town board as that develops. Our As it relates to our finance department, I am excited to advise the board that the town has once again received the Government Finance Officers Association Distinguished Budget Presentation Award. This is our second year for receiving this award. It's the highest form of recognition in governmental budgeting. Its attainment represents a significant achievement for the town of Fuquay-Varina. In addition to receiving the award, the town's budget received special recognition for performance measures, long-range operating financial plans, and strategic goals and strategies. And this all ties back to the town having a sound strategic plan. So congratulations on great work from all the way from the board down to the staff level to put this together. And I also want to give just special recognition to Katie Lum, our budget and fiscal strategy manager. She's not here this evening. Joanne is here, our finance director. But Katie's efforts to prepare this document for submittal were countless in terms of the amount of hours and time and effort put into it. So I want to thank her and recognize her for getting the town the recognition it deserves on a well-planned and well-put-together budget. A lot to report in our communications department. Our 2024 community survey on September 23rd, randomly selected households within Fuquay-Varina's town limits began receiving an invitation by mail to participate in the town's community survey. Results will be based on those participant responses. Participants have the option to take the survey online or return their completed form via mail. And then the survey results will be presented to the town board in early 2025 and available on the town's website at that time. As of October 4th, ETC Institute, which is the company that is conducting this survey, reports that they have received approximately 300 survey responses for the statistically valid survey. Our goal is 400, so we're making great progress towards that goal. If you'll recall, the town's first community survey was in 2022. So this is now 2 years later, a temperature test to see how we're doing, hopefully improving. That's our goal anyway. Second, I would just like to make mention that the 2024 Christmas ornament, and I believe each one of you should have received one of those, is completed. This year's limited edition ornament, which you all should have this evening, captures the most wonderful time of year in Fuquay-Varina. Our local artist, Jasmine Hicks, beautifully illustrates a festive sleigh ride through downtown. Jasmine also works at the Fuquay-Varina Art Center and has been a winner of the Fuquay-Varina Downtown en Plein Air, Downtown Association en Plein Air event. And so the ornaments can be purchased at the town's online store, which is fuquay-varina.org/store. And we encourage the community to get yours. It's a limited edition, so get them while supplies last. The National League of Cities Centennial Roadshow. The town of Fuquay-Varina has been chosen as a digital stop on the National League of Cities Roadshow 100 Years, 100 Cities. We applied for that. I believe Commissioner Haynes had brought mention of that at a previous board meeting after having attended an NLC conference. And Susan did all the hard work, applied for that recognition, and we were selected. Mayor Massengill had quite a bit of involvement in that application process as well, and just a great deal of pride that out of all the cities in the United States, 100 of them being selected, Fuquay-Varina was one of them.
We're top 100 on it, that's right.
Throughout this journey, the National League of Cities has visited those 100 cities, primarily through digital visits to spotlight the unique stories of municipalities and the invaluable relationships they have cultivated with the NLC. And our communications department is working with the National League of Cities to highlight the Celebrate Fuquay-Varina Festival, which just happened this past weekend, on a digital stop, and the town will be featured on a stop in early November. So exciting news for our town. We're currently advertising to fill the soon-to-be vacant Economic Development Director position. Tiffany McNeil, who's in the crowd, this is her last board meeting, and her last day will be this Wednesday, October 9th. So we want to wish Tiffany well in her next endeavors. We'll miss her here at the town as our Economic Development Director, and we hope that she is the second best Economic Development Director in Wake County.
There you go. Tiffany, thank you for all of your time here. wish you the best, being the second best over there since you're leaving us. But we do wish you success in the future. You've done a great job at Fuquay-Varina and enjoyed working with you and been very proud of you. You have, being not just a resident of Fuquay-Varina, but you grew up here too. So you've been good.
In addition to other news out of our Economic Development Department, the recommended downtown generational master plan will be presented along with feedback from our Let's Talk FV platform at our next meeting on October 22nd. So be prepared and planning for that great presentation. The next few things are related to our Public Utilities Department. The water line extension on Judd Parkway is complete, so we're checking that capital project box. Ransdell Road water line replacement is also complete, so we're making progress. The water line extension on Maud Stewart Road has started and is moving along well. The contractor has started water line replacement on Woodland, Depot, and Reynolds. And once they finish those streets, they will move to Academy Street and Main Street. And so there will be some news that will come out related to that work because it will have some traffic impacts while the contractor is working to replace those water lines. As it relates to our planning department, staff will take the final recommended community transportation plan along with LDO amendments that align with the recommended community transportation plan to the planning board in October. And then the expectation and goal is that those will come forward to the town board in November. So bringing the final touches on a couple of large planning items for the town, the downtown generational plan and our CTP by the end of the year. Our police department completed its web-based assessment as a part of the CALIA accreditation process, a major milestone in that process. And the next step will be a site evaluation, which is scheduled for November 18th through 20th of this year. So making good progress there. I think, Chief, we're thinking March, April timeframe, if we stay on March timeframe to complete that and become a nationally accredited CALIA accredited police department. So looking forward to that. Couple of things related to our fire department. Engineer Hunter Hartley and firefighter Caleb Thompson, along with tanker one, were deployed to Polk County, North Carolina last week to assist with Hurricane Helene cleanup, recovery, and call response in Polk County. They're scheduled to return on Wednesday of this week, and we're waiting for the next assignment from the State Emergency Operations Center. And they've been reporting back daily to Chief Jones. What they're witnessing and observing on the ground is pretty amazing and incredible, and not in a good way. The devastation that's occurred in the western part of the state is unimaginable, and we thank those firefighters for raising their hand to say they want it to go and help serve and help those communities. And we stand ready, like I mentioned, to send another group for deployment should the State Emergency Operations Center call on us to do that. Our ISO inspection, our insurance inspection, that was scheduled to happen today, has been postponed until a later date due to the ongoing Hurricane Helene relief efforts in western North Carolina. The state was not able to offer a new tentative date. They have their resources deployed there as well. So we'll continue to be prepared and ready for that inspection until which case we know a date. Firefighter Andrew Grobe successfully defended his sticky bun.
I'll talk about that.
Oh, you want to talk about that? All right. Let the mayor talk about the sticky bun contest. I'll defer to Public Works, which has been busy responding to the severe rainfall event in the early morning hours of September 25th. The hurricane, the tropical storm, Helene, that came through was not the worst of our issues. It was actually the rain event on September 25th, which parts of our town experienced 5.5 inches of rainfall over a two-hour period. A lot of rain. Our streets department, public works department has been doing a great job to deal and handle with debris as a result of that rainfall, and I want to thank them for their efforts on that. The streets department has also made a crew available for mutual aid assistance with the recovery in western North Carolina, and we are just awaiting assignment and deployment as impacted communities transition to the recovery phase. This historic disaster will require an unprecedented effort that's going to take months and years to to address. Our IT department and our inspections department will have worked collaboratively to launch a full digital plan submission process and acceptance. So far, it's been a smooth transition, so we want to thank both those departments for their efforts and hard work to continue to advance us into the digital age. And our IT department is currently working with departments to allow online submission and payments for other smaller scale permits and plans within the town. So the goal is to eventually get to all digital or predominantly a digital offering to our partners and community outside of our organization. Our Parks and Recreation Department, I'm proud to say we had a successful Follow Me to Fuquay-Varina concert since our last board meeting, a Celebrate Fuquay-Varina concert since our last board meeting, and the festival this past Saturday. So excellent job by not only our Parks and Rec Department, but also all of our staff that is involved in those events. It takes an army to put those events on for our community, and want to thank all of those staff employees that are a part of that process, from the planning to the execution stage. Our Follow Me to Fuquay-Varina Fall Concert Series ends on Thursday, October 17th, with Jim Quick and the Coastline Band, always a favorite here in our community. And we had 103 volunteers that have signed up to work the annual Haunted Trail on Saturday, October 19th. So there's no question it's going to be a scary experience for the community here that wish to partake and participate. We have full freight and not so full freight. Family freight. Okay. Session 2 for fall classes at the Art Center begins next week. The Nutcracker has been cast, and it begins rehearsals next week with 65 in this year's cast. So a big cast here for the Nutcracker. It should be a great performance. The fabulous Equinox Orchestra comes to Fuquay-Varina on Friday, October 11th, this Friday, and Beatlesque, a fan favorite, comes back to Fuquay-Varina on Saturday, October 19th. There are tickets still available, but they're going fast. If you know of anyone interested, please encourage them to contact the box office quickly. Just to sort of hit on Helene one more time, management, IT, our fire department are in daily communication with the county, Wake County Emergency Management, the North Carolina Department of Public Safety, and our local partners that are supporting our neighbors in western North Carolina that have been, no doubt, severely affected by Hurricane Helene. Because of current logistical challenges that are being experienced in western North Carolina and the rapidly changing geographic specific needs, our partners are asking residents and businesses to not necessarily self-deploy to those impacted areas, but to provide services or deliver supplies. The best way to get donations to people who need them is to work with the North Carolina Voluntary Organizations Active in Disaster Organization, or VOAD. They're already on the ground. They have a strong understanding of resources needed in these specific areas, and there's a list of VOADs at the ncvoad.org website, which includes many nonprofit and faith-based organizations right here in Fuquay-Varina. And so that's nice that we've got our community actively involved with that organization and doing their part to help those in need in the western part. And cash remains one of the best and most flexible ways in getting resources to the individuals in need. Organizations typically prefer cash donations because they allow disaster response organizations to purchase food, water, medicine, and equipment from secure supply chains. And it conserves resources that are required to sort those things out and distribute them. And so the North Carolina Department of Public Safety's website has more information about how individuals can donate money and register to volunteer. So if you know of anyone that's interested with their heart to help those in need, please direct them to the North Carolina Department of Public Safety website for more information. With that, Mr. Mayor, in addition to those comments, I would just draw your attention to yours and the board's attention to the board agenda. We've got the police department Friends with Wisdom event at Carolina Gardens Clubhouse this Thursday from 9 to 10 a.m. I mentioned again that Jim Quick and the Coastline Band are playing at our last Follow Me to Fuquay concert on Thursday, October, I'm speaking slow, hoping Scott's going to change that screen for me, 17th from 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. Our police department is going to be hosting Create with a Cop at the Rescue Wood Rehab store on 718 North Main Street. The Haunted Trail, again, as I mentioned, will be on Saturday, October 19th. Family Fright from 5 to 6 and Full Fright from 7 to 9. The Fuquay-Varina Downtown Association will host the Downtown Trick or Treat in downtown Fuquay. Friday, October 25th from 2 to 5 p.m. Always a fun event and gets a lot of families and children and adults alike out in our downtown, and it's just nice to see the activity happening. So that'll be another great event. And our Fuquay-Varina Police Department will be hosting a mental health resources event on Saturday, October 26th from 10 to 2 p.m. at the Southern Regional Center. Did I mention the fire department open house? I did not. When is that, Chief? 26 as well. So, oh, there it is on the screen. Maybe I don't see it on my screen. Okay, so that's going to be on Saturday, October 26th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And another great event that our fire department hosts each year at Fire Station Number 1? Yes, sir. All right. With that, Mr. Mayor, that concludes my remarks and comments. I'm happy to answer any questions that you or the town board may have.
Any questions at this time? Any board members' questions or comments? Okay, we'll move to board member comments and maybe some comments made in that in regards to it. Commissioner Harris, any comments?
Just a few comments, Mr. Mayor. It was great to participate in the Celebrate to Fuquay-Varina, to be downtown, and then to know that we were selected by the National League of Cities and being recognized for a small city that has grown and, of course, transformed. One of the unique things that I liked about the celebration, that I saw the great diversity that is here in Fuquay-Varina. I mean, it is just amazing the number of people who came out and the number of vendors and what their offerings were, as well as to see the families together. I think the staff did an excellent job in preparing for the crowd. It was a beautiful day. So I just want to say I'm just so grateful for being able to participate in that event and to be here in Fuquay-Varina, and to congratulate the staff for a job well done. Thank you.
I agree with those comments. Thank you, Commissioner Harris. Commissioner Adcock, any comments?
I just kind of wanted to follow back up on tonight. We approved two really complex projects, but I think they're going to be a really great asset to the town of Fuquay-Varina. And it was pretty easy from where I sit because staff obviously had done a lot of the heavy lifting for us and made it easy for us. And, you know, as the town staff, you all have oftentimes thankless jobs. I want you to know that I really appreciate all the hard work. It's not like it used to be around here. These deals are very complex, and you know, it takes somebody that really cares about the future of the town to make the most of them, and I believe that you all do. And I just wanted to make that comment because I think it's all the work that you all do is not ignored. So thank you.
Charlie, appreciate those comments right there. I agree with that completely. I mean, you hit nail on the head. The developments that are getting approved today take a ton of iterations back and forth that management's involved with, planning director and other departments directors are involved with right there, and working out that and getting a good product right there. And it's great that Fuquay-Varina can be in a position to be able to have those negotiations, just like I just
That's
speaking about right there, versus, you know, a lot of towns out there will just be ecstatic to get a trailer park built in their town, and we can be picky on what gets built here. And so that's great. Those are exciting amenities for our citizens. I agree. It takes a lot of time. So thank y'all. Our citizens will really appreciate it too, especially with all those traffic improvements and something new with commercial they haven't had before or in a while. Commissioner Watts, any comments?
I concur, and thank you for all the hard work. It took a while to read that agenda, but it was a wonderful abstract of different things. I love the commercial component and the emphasis on the commercial component in these mixed-use developments. I wanted to say too, as has been said, I love Celebrate Fuquay-Varina. It's a wonderful event, and thank you to the good Lord for keeping the weather nice. I always pray for that on Celebrate Fuquay-Varina, but it was, the town outdoes itself every year. Music I've heard was just sensational from people who also heard the music that just really loved it. The concert, on Thursday was wonderful, and I was glad to be able to go to that. I've missed some of the other concerts because I've been participating in the Ghost Tour, which has been a lot of fun, and it's had a great attendance in Fuquay-Varina. But I've heard really good things. While I was out there, I saw the businesses on Friday night was just spectacular. So many people out and enjoying it. It was nice to just see that going on, and would love that to definitely continue. I wanted to also thank Commissioner Haynes and Mayor Massengale for getting us helping to get us recognized with the 100 cities, and that's exciting. That's a big honor. On another positive note along that line, when I was looking through our news, I saw that we got Wallet Hub had ranked us as the 144th. I think we're number one, but as the 144th best small city in America. And among the top 30 small cities in America for economic health, we also scored the best in the triangle for public safety.
Yeah.
So those were some, and the factors they used were affordability, economic health, education, health, and quality of life, and safety. So we scored, once again, not surprised, extremely well. And I just wanted to say on a final note that thank you to our community for what it has done to come together to help those who have been devastated by the hurricane. One of the things I find I've always said I find that's unique about our board is that our entire board, except for me, is from here. Grew up here, and I didn't grow up here, but I did grow up in Asheville, North Carolina, and my community that I grew up in has been devastated. Where I went to high school has been devastated. I've lost a friend, and just scrolling down Facebook posts and hearing from people has just been worse than can be imagined. So to see the town of Fuquay-Varina come together, and from our churches to our Legion post, and do everything that they've stepped up to do as a community. That's my favorite thing about Fuquay-Varina, how we come together in times to help one another, but also to care about people across our state. So a million thank yous, and thank you to our town staff and everyone who was also involved in all these things that have been going on to make our community a dash more. Thank you.
I agree with that, Jason. Thank you. Commissioner Haynes, any comments?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. First, I wore my pink tie today for Breast Cancer Awareness Month for sure, for those who in our community who have dealt with that or who've lost family members to breast cancer. We definitely think of you during this month. Another thing is the Southern Regional Resource event that they'll be having at Lincoln Heights on October 14th from 5 to 7. It'll be 40 of our community partners that come together to provide resources to the community and share their resources to the community. So you have many of those who help in so many different ways. So that'll be October the 14th from 5 to 7 p.m. at Lincoln Heights Elementary School. Also, Celebrate Fuquay, as everybody has stated, was an amazing event. Definitely thank you to the staff. You can't name one department because I swear it was like every department was out there. So I can't just name one department. So thank you all for all you did that day. I definitely was excited to see the teen council there. That's something, I know sometimes I come with those crazy ideas, but to see it into from a vision to something amazing. Those young people out there doing activities with the kids, had on their shirts and they were smiling, was just amazing as well. I definitely was excited about the NLC Road Show, so thank you, Susan, the mayor, and everybody for all you did to make that happen, so thank you so much for that. Also, after Celebrate Fuquay later that evening, I got invited to go, we have a a growing population of Nepalese community in the town of Fuquay-Varina, and I was invited to the soccer league that was held at Pleasant Park in Apex. So I went over with the mayor and some councilmen, and we actually presented trophies and awards to the winners of the Nepalese soccer league. They said they have outgrowing the Pleasant Park, so I said, come on to Fuquay-Varina, and we can put you at Fleming Loop Park, and we can have the soccer tournament there. So they said we'll look into that. But it was just amazing just to see them. They pushed us to the front of the line for food and everything else. But it was a good tournament. They were excited just to see all the elected officials out there just recognizing them, and they had so much energy. So that was amazing. And I think that is it. That's it, Mr. Mayor. Oh, I'm sorry, one more thing. This week, I will start my legislative policy committee meetings. We had a listening session last week. I went to Elon University, and a lot of the strategic plans and a lot of the concerns in our town are concerns of everybody else town around us. So I think out of these meetings, we'll have a great legislative policy committee incentives to take to our legislators. So I'm excited about that, and if any input from our management, anybody, so I can take that to the meeting in the next 4 meetings that we have for that policy committee. That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Well, thank you, Commissioner Haynes. Mayor Pro Tem Gardner.
Well, I really hated to miss some of these wonderful things that were going on that I had double booked myself, but I'm glad that particularly the 100 cities in 100 years, that we got to be part of that. That was really cool. Thank you, Commissioner Haynes, for letting us know about that. But we've had such a busy fall here. I thought the Chamber's Senior Services Expo, it just gets better and bigger every year.
That's good.
I thought it was really amazing that day, and I saw new groups there, and I saw people who'd had booths before who, had grown what they were exhibiting, and I remember one of them was Fuquay Transportation, and he said he went the first year, and he still has clients today that he met that first year, and he's been every year since. It is a really great resource for our seniors, and it was a very beautiful, uplifting day. The Chamber's annual meeting was also one of the most successful and well-run events like that. It was a luncheon, and it was one of the best things I've been to in Fuquay-Varina. It was just handled very well and was a very positive day, celebrating a lot of exciting things in our business community. I also enjoyed Dr. Charles Mann's his business after hours. His office always brings a party. It was really fun, even though they had to move it at the last minute. They had to move it to the chamber because of the hurricane.
They were dancing there, weren't they?
They were dancing. And this fall, we have 2 icons of jazz concerts scheduled. One has already been, and we have one coming up. Oh my goodness, I didn't have that. I didn't have it written down, but it is later this month. The second of those is coming up at the Arts Center. I also went to the Cinderella play at the Arts Center musical. It was excellent. And we had a fun Fat Cat ice cream ribbon cutting. And that was a good thing to see because 2 of our businesses, if you remember about a year or 2 ago, we had the Bolt drink place in Varina. We did their ribbon cutting, and now they are sharing their space with Fat Cat. I liked seeing 2 of our businesses come together in that way. And the 2 concerts I've been to since the last board meeting were excellent. Mm-hmm. Excellent. It's just been fun. I like our town.
Well, good. We're glad you like it. I like it.
We like you.
Glad we're all here. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Gardner. Talking about Celebrate Fuquay-Varina this weekend, I know that all staff has hands on deck working at that pretty much, no matter what department you're in, you're there working, and so it takes a lot to put that festival on, and our citizens appreciate it. It was a great, great turnout out there, a lot of positive comments as every year Celebrate continues to do great and continues to build, and I had some people saying exactly what Marilyn just said, that they liked our town and that they enjoyed living here and how great it was. And you could see the hard work that staff put into that and everybody being out there, like I said, and even if it was manning an area to make sure no cars drove down it. I mean, just a large variety of people out there and spent time, and our citizens appreciate that. Andrew Grobe, before Adam tried to steal the thunder earlier, Andrew Grobe with our fire department is our age 15 to 24 undefeated champion. That's what we need to call him, undefeated champion.
He whipped my son last year.
Last year he beat or broke your son, what'd you say?
Whipped him.
Whipped his son. Whipped him. Did it, he took it all the way down. One other kid couldn't do it. The rest of them were slow on it. Chief Jones said that at the time of that day he completed at approximately 12:30. He said at that time it was his proudest moment of the day so far that he had. And it was a great right there. We had a age division 25 and up, and the ranking champion came back and lost his crown. It was 8 contestants, 7 male, 1 female, and the female took the championship. And she did great, and it was great. She had just moved to Fuquay-Varina 1 week prior, and got into the contest right there. And so that, but not just the food eating contest was not the only highlight. There was a lot of highlights. I mean, between bands playing, food trucks to gardens, vendors that were there, all different tents that were vendors, the BMX bike show, everything was very, very positive. And so it went off excellent. And so staff did an excellent job with that. Speaking of our concert kickoff, we had a kickoff concert on Thursday, but the concert that was before that, 2 weeks earlier, received emails of compliments from Wade Morrow with the Parks and Rec Department for dancing out there in front of the stage and dancing with a variety of our citizens. And they said, and had emails and compliments from about 3 different ones and said, we've always seen him at these events, but didn't know he could dance. And he was out there leading the dances out there. And I think, Brian, you're out there at one point dancing by there too. And they, it means a lot when people reach out to us on that, and also, doing something like that. 'Cause same with all of our staff of the town. That's above and beyond. You're not, to go do those types of things. And that's what gives us such great character and charm right here. Marilyn, you mentioned Cinderella. That did go off great. My little girl loved it. Jake got a little bored and a little about halfway into it, but Anna loved it, Maureen, so y'all did do a great job with that. And that show that day looked like it was nearly sold out if it was not sold out. And so I think all your shows have been that way so far, and so continue to do a great job with that, and citizens enjoying that right there. A couple last comments right here. Eva's your first night being deputy town clerk here for a full meeting, Eva May, so congratulations. You've done a great job here tonight, and made not just Teresa proud, but all of us proud up here too. So you've done great on that. Last meeting we had, we discussed the police versus fire battle of the blood, and we had that. And so my arm is finally healed from my massive wound that I had that day, giving blood. I believe the fire department beat the police department. Is that what I heard last? Right there. So that's, y'all had a great competition for a great cause right there. I think half my blood went to each of y'all is what I'm expecting, so I didn't do both my arms. I did my old trick when I got out of the chair. I fell on the ground, pretending like I fell on the ground, and the nice lady, I probably shouldn't have done it. Nice lady come run to me and to help me. I said, no, it's a joke. I'm playing. It's great to know not a single one of our police or firefighters got to even try to help me on that. They claimed they knew what was going on, but they were just laughing in the distance. And I said, no, I'm just playing. She said, you're not playing. You're hurt. I can tell you're lightheaded. You got to sit down. I was like, no, ask them. They know I'm joking. And so it went all very fun. But it was a good cause. A lot of blood donated that day. And Anita was big. And speaking of last comment right there, you mentioned earlier about fire open house coming up, and talking about fall events right here. Adam, in regards to that, Celebrate Fuquay-Varina and then fire department open house. They're typically both in the month of October, or within a couple weeks of each other right there. And so I know that's going to be a great turnout coming up right then, and that will be after our next Tuesday meeting. if I remember right on the date. But either way, it's mentioned in it's in the minutes, it's in there. Hopefully everybody in the public goes there and attends. And Chief, we know that'll be a great event also right there. Thank you for everybody for being here tonight. There's no closed session tonight. We'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. We're adjourned. Thank you.